What is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer and Kyle Kelly live on the Blue and Gold YouTube channel. A lot to discuss in the world of Notre Dame football recruiting. Things seem to be heating up. Lots of predictions this week. Really impressive visitor list for a 3:30 afternoon game against NC State. So yeah, make sure you lock into this show today. Hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Of course, blueandgold.com is your home for all things Notre Dame football and recruiting coverage. And this show is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Tailgate season is most definitely here, and no one's going to get you ready for game day. Like Academy Sports and Outdoors. So swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. 8 stores across the state of Indiana for those in the Hoosier State, including one that opened up last week in Mishawaka. Fun can't lose. Neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Kyle, how are you, my friend? Everything good?
Yes, sir. Doing well. Yourself?
It's good, man. It's good. My wife is out of town all day today. She left at like 5 in the morning and gets back at like midnight to check on one of our properties. We do some like managing properties on the side, a little side hustle for us. It's a little stressful over here, but baby's all right. Doing all right. So a little bit of a shorter show today because of that, but still, we're going to jam pack a lot of information with that. Rip Jules, it is 100% great to see you today. ND Milton fans, always good to see you as well. Lotus, something simple. Sly Fox, yes. Singer, is everybody coming in the 27 class? It's too early to say, but Notre Dame is definitely rolling. And I logged 4 new predictions on Monday. We're going to talk. Kyle and I did a video. Make sure you watch that. We're not going to dive deep into those 4 prospects because, again, we already did a video on it, but we will talk about them in a little bit. But wanted to start the show, Kyle, with this prediction. Jalen Hill from St. John Bosco. I thought this from my uncle Teddy responded and said, it's not actually my uncle, but I met him before the Boise State game, and his last name's Singer, I think. So I call him Uncle Teddy. He said, it's the tie, isn't it? Be honest. He's wearing a tie in the picture. Jalen Hill from St. John Bosco, of course, Kingstonville, Amuasa, came from that school. But really, it's a national powerhouse. It's usually a top 5 school, if not like a top 2 school in the country every year. And absolutely loaded with Division I prospects. And, it's in Southern Cal's backyard. So, that Chad Bowden and the Trojans are coming after him hard. But sources are feeling pretty good here, Kyle. He had a great visit to Notre Dame back in the spring and a tremendous trip for the Texas A&M game. And he told rivals Adam Gorney going into the visit for the A&M game, Kyle, that those were like not his top 2 schools, but maybe the 2 schools at that moment in time that were standing out to him the most. He saw them play, and of course, the Aggies just barely bested the Irish on that day, but still hearing enough positive buzz that I like Notre Dame here. Kyle, what was your reaction to me logging this pick?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but I actually shared it on the Loose Emoji message board for our Blue and Gold subscribers. And just to summarize, I felt it was a little bold, to be honest, of the predictions you made.
3 of the 5 I would put as bold. 2 of the 5, maybe not as bold, but still kind of bold, I would say. Like, there's no like layups that I'm picking in the next week.
Yeah, the reason I felt like this one was bold because just based off Adam Gorney's reporting at Rivals at Jalen Hill's recruitment, that Texas A&M was one of the schools early setting the pace. He was supposed to be in College Station twice this season. I don't know if that ended up happening, but there was a possibility that Hill was going to get to see the Aggies 3 times this year. And Texas A&M, believe it or not, has done a pretty good job of recruiting California. They got Madden Williams from St. John Bosco, a highly coveted wide receiver in the 26 cycle. So, Texas A&M, they're one of the top teams on the recruiting trail too. But as you mentioned, Hill had a great visit to Notre Dame for the Texas A&M game. But the thing that fascinates me about this pick, and I've said it on the show a couple times now, is what's going to be the shakeout with Notre Dame 2027 defensive back recruiting? I think you might have 3 predictions in. for DBs to commit to Notre Dame. I could probably see, to be honest, 3 or 4 more that I would say Notre Dame's in the top group for. So I'll be intrigued to see if this one comes together. Like I said, I felt it was pretty bold, but yeah, that St. John Bosco connection might help out Notre Dame here in this recruitment. Mike, you are on mute, my brother.
Thank you. Or you said 3. Do I have another one I told you about coming soon?
I don't know. I know you have Xavier Hassan, Jalen Hill, and there might be one
Nah.
other.
So these are the players I've predicted to Notre Dame. And for folks watching on YouTube, this is Jalen Hill's midseason junior tape. Richie Flanagan predicted him to Notre Dame back on Pot of Gold Day, or the day after, or day before Pot of Gold Day. Of course, that came to fruition recently. Teddy Gerard, I was one of those rare predictions where I did it soon, or like I did the prediction, he committed like a week later. I usually don't do predictions that close, but I did for Teddy because I was hearing good things and felt that the silent commitment was imminent, but wanted to get it in before. Just cards on the table. And then here are the other picks. Braden Parks, defensive lineman from Chicago, Cameron Wagner, offensive tackle from Central Illinois. Those are the 2 that I feel like are more okay. You got Chris Zorich, his godson, and Parks, and Parks' cousins, Tony Jones Jr., former Notre Dame running back, and he's been to Notre Dame 4 or 5 times. He was over in South Bend for the A&M game, was in South Bend twice over the summer. It's like, all right, that one makes sense. Still not a layup whatsoever. Like some people on Twitter were like, Mike, yeah, it would be a travesty if he didn't come to Notre Dame, and sure, but it's not like guarantee. Like he really likes Illinois, even like Ohio State. I don't see him going all the way out to Oregon, but I know the Ducks are doing a really good job in his recruitments. And then before I give some thoughts about more of these predictions, do want to talk about Augie's locker room, the one of a kind, unique Notre Dame memorabilia shop in South Bend at 1733 North Ironwood Drive, just down the street from Notre Dame. So whenever you come in town for a game this season, or if you're local or whatever the case may be, you got to make time for Augie's locker room and check out their wide selection of Notre Dame Stadium pieces, jerseys, helmets, autographs, and one-of-a-kind, Rockney items. You can find exclusive Joe Montana signed items and famous sculptor Jerry McKenna's, replicas of the bronze statues from around the stadium. Augie gets new stuff in all the time, folks. If he doesn't have something in store, he can go out and find it for you. So make sure you visit Augie at 1733 North Ironwood Drive in South Bend and see the vintage helmets plated dating back to 1890. And give him a call, 574-277-6363. Don't be weird. Call him during normal business hours. I'm guessing that's a shop number. Hopefully that's not Augie's personal cell that I've been reading for 2 years. But give Augie a call. Hold on. Let me just pull up the contact page. 574-277. Okay, so that's on the website. So I feel better about that. But there you go. Augie's Locker Room.com. Kyle, are you feeling under the weather at all? By any chance? Okay, thank God.
It's funny you say that, just because one of my friends went to the Notre Dame game last weekend. I know the weather up here in the Midwest is different where you're at, but he's feeling the under the weather because it was like 85 degrees at Notre Dame, and it's gotten down to like 45 or 55 here. Thankfully, knock on wood, I haven't had any signs of feeling under the weather recently.
I'm glad,
I can't afford it right now.
Kyle and I were at the game together Friday, and we didn't spend a whole lot of time together. We were at the Chicago Brother Rice and Mount Carmel game Friday, which we did a video on that as well. So you can watch that. I'll be posting that on the Blue and Gold YouTube channel Tuesday. So I'm still coughing. I've been sick for like 2 weeks. I was kind of nervous last week. I was feeling good enough to be able to make the trip, but I was nervous about getting someone else sick. So that's just the joys of having a daughter that goes out and plays with other kids. It makes its way back to the Singer household.
I will say, ironically, I was kind of feeling under the weather Tuesday before we recorded our video, but I was able to power through, and I felt like after I got through that, I felt pretty good. So, knock on wood, immune system is treating me well, because we cannot afford to be sick next week with what we have coming for the USC game.
Yeah. My daughter's birthday is on the 17th, so yeah. taking her down to Disney for her first birthday. So I don't know how I made that plan on the day before the USC game, but hey, it is what it is. Bo N.D. Johnson, good buddy, says, "Did I miss the tight end news for Mike Singer?" Uh no, tonight at blueandgold.com. So we're not going to talk about it in this video, but maybe a little tight end predictions coming. Maybe maybe not. We'll see. Henry is cool, would be over the moon about it. But we'll see if it happens or not. But yeah, going back to the predictions. Yeah, Amari Irvin. Man, how interesting. His older brother, Cedric Irvin, was, of course, a Notre Dame commit back in the 23 class. Father, Cedric Irvin Sr., was a absolute stud at Michigan State and spent a few years in the NFL. Um, I think that one's bold, but look, Thomas Davis Jr., when I predicted him to Notre Dame in August of 24, that was bold. When I picked Ivan Taylor in Notre Dame, of course, Ivan Taylor ended up flipping a couple times, but those, like, some of these are bold, but you have like things that you can see developing into Notre Dame's favor. All three of those guys I just mentioned, Irvin, Taylor, and Davis, all NFL legacies. So Cedric Irvin, I've known Cedric Irvin Sr. Since I was like 3 or 4 months into the covering recruiting gig, Kyle. I was living in the Tampa area, and I went to USF's. They have a big 7-on-7 event where like all the top high schools in the state come and do the 7-on-7 at USF. It's called Sling and Shoot, and he was the head coach at Westminster, which there is a guy named Tim Irvin who is his uncle is Michael Irvin, so also related to to Amari Irvin. So yeah, quite the football pedigree in that family. But anyways, Westminster was at that camp. So that's when I first met Cedric Irvin, and of course, got to cover his son committing to Notre Dame and then later decommitting and going to Stanford. We could talk about Cedric Irvin Jr. and recalling that at a later time. But there's no bad blood. All of the offensive coaches that were here when Cedric Irvin Jr. decommitted from Notre Dame are gone. Marcus Freeman, when he committed to Notre Dame, like, Marcus Freeman was still the DC. That's like how long ago we're talking. So everything is good on that front, Kyle. You talked about that in our video the other day. So that's all fine and dandy. It seems like if his older brother committed to Notre Dame, that just shows, all right, this family really values academics. You have the NFL legacy thing, and that's done well for Marcus Freeman the past few years. So, and then you just hear from Notre Dame sources, things definitely look good. And not to mention, Amari Irvin's visiting Notre Dame this weekend. We'll talk about the Irish's visit weekend here in a little bit. And then Xavier Hassan, Notre Dame is right up there for him. Multiple visits this year. Both went really, really well. Steve Wiltfong's talked about that he thinks that Notre Dame might be the front runner for him. He said that either right before or right after the A&M game when Hassan was on campus. I posted an article from my interview with Hassan about his A&M visit yesterday or the day before. So, yeah, I mean, am I going to go 100% here? Probably not, but I like all of these picks. They're pretty well sourced. I would say that Notre Dame's at least a co-leader for all five of these guys. So any thoughts on these fellows, Kyle, before we move on?
Yeah, just to clarify real quick, I feel like I'm long overdue to mention this clarification, but the reason why I thought you had predicted 3 defensive backs to Notre Dame is because there's also a prediction in for Notre Dame to land Tavares Harrington, who
Oh, you're right.
Chicago Mount Carmel. That's not yours prediction. That's Steve Wiltfong. So
Mm-hmm.
either way, 3 DBs predicted to Notre Dame. Like I said earlier, I could see a couple others ending up with the Irish as well. So it's going to be one of the storylines to follow in the 2027 cycle.
Yeah, definitely. So it's like, going into North Carolina, landing Hassan over everyone, going into Southern California, landing Jalen Hill over like everyone, Oregon, A&M, USC, all the schools. Tough task, tall task, but you count out Mike Mickens? I'm not. So Notre Dame is again. I think they lead for Hill. I mean, obviously, I think they lead for all of them. That's why I'm putting these picks. But yeah, I was just about to say, go through each of them and like, do I feel like Notre Dame leads? Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I predicted them all, but So yeah, those are the picks, and I have one coming tonight, and I think 3 next week, Kyle. I might do so that's 5, 6. I might get up to 9. By the time we do this show next Thursday, yeah, might have 9 or excuse me, 9 total, but 3 or 4 more to talk about. So yeah, definitely busy times over at bloomandgold.com. And as I talked about in the video that we did earlier this week, Kyle, like I like the long-term projections. Like, I like to do a pick and it come right 15 months later, like with Joey O'Brien, or, like, I'm not saying that's the only way you should do them. And like, it's not like I want to predict 18 months in advance. And if one of them comes right, I'm patting myself on the back, but like, who cares about the other 4 that I got wrong? Like, I'm not trying to do that either. Like, I am shooting for total accuracy, but the bigger point is I'm not like, oh, this guy just silently committed to Notre Dame, let me run a prediction for him. If you do that in this business, that's totally fine. It's just not my style. And if it was Kyle's, he would have got enough crap for me that he would have stopped. But yeah, Kyle, I don't think does that. Kyle, wink twice if Bone Crusher is a silent commit. How was talking to the Bone Crusher on Friday?
Yeah, Bone Crusher's got to learn a little bit more about Notre Dame in order to be a silent commit. This is the case for a lot of 28 recruits right now. So a lot of those guys still getting to know Notre Dame. Notre Dame's still getting to know a lot of those guys. So would be a big deal if they can get 2028 D lineman Caleb Tucker from Mount Carmel campus this season. Goes by Bone Crusher, so something to monitor for now is first him getting to campus, and then we'll see about where Notre Dame stands for him.
Something simple said is, come on, Spell's still in line to visit Notre Dame soon. Also, with the play of Malachi Fields, I'd hope to see Sales see some similarities.
I have thoughts on this question.
Good. Two questions there.
Yeah, no, it's just we've been getting a lot of questions about Keemon Smell visiting for the USC game. Like, I don't know where this narrative is coming from that he might not visit, but everything I've heard is that he's going to be in South Bend next weekend.
I'll text him right now and see what he says. Have you talked to him recently?
I have not, but Adam Gorney just did a report.
I did see that.
Yeah, so Gorney reported that Spell still is expected on campus for Notre Dame, USC. I don't see that changing. I still feel like Notre Dame is the team with the best chance to flip him.
In Gorney's article, he said that he's still expecting Spell to visit.
He didn't say expecting. He said that Spell is going to visit Notre Dame for the USC game and then Tennessee in November. So I know with his recruitment, it's just a matter of them getting up to campus, and then we could really see the tide start to shift. But as it goes with Monshawn Sales, this is something we talked to Steve Wilfong about a month ago, his Notre Dame recruitment. I think Notre Dame's in that second tier of schools, maybe on the fringe of trying to get into that first tier with Ohio State and LSU and Alabama and those schools. I mean, Notre Dame had a good visit with him last month, but I think Notre Dame's got some work to do.
Yeah.
So I know everyone sees in-state kid. Notre Dame should be able to get him, but he's from Alabama eventually.
Can you read? Hold on. Hope this is okay to do. All right. Other than the cute baby, can you see what he said?
I see 3 letters, so I'm assuming yes.
It says yeah. So there you go. There's a lot of reporting for you. Spell still visiting. So something simple, ask and you will receive.
Let's bury that rumor that he wasn't going to be. I don't know where or why people were wondering, but
maybe it's from me because he was going to visit before, and then when we reported about him visiting for this game, I was kind of like, he is visiting Penn State, so like maybe he cancels it again, like it happened last time. So maybe it's my fault, but he did move it from A&M to USC. But yeah, with Penn State, how just god awful they are, you could. Makes sense that I don't know how open he is to flipping, but I do agree with you that Notre Dame's got the best shot. And I know I just said I don't know how open he is to flip, but like a percentage wise, but I don't know, dude. I'm not like saying I think the Irish are going to do it, but I like their chances, if that makes sense. Like I think that they are a bigger contender here than most people think for Come On Spell. So something simple. Thank you for the question. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. I know I say this all the time, and I don't want it to just become like, all right, that's just something Mike says all the time. If you're like logged into a YouTube or Gmail account, whatever, hit the thumbs up. And if you're not logged into an account and you hit the thumbs up, it'll tell you to or something, I think. But if you're logged into an account, please hit the thumbs up. It really helps what we do here at Blue and Gold. It helps the YouTube algorithm to like us more, basically. So please do that. And if you're new here, so it's your first time watching us, welcome. Please subscribe to the channel, and you can catch so much more Notre Dame content. Yes. All right. Let's get into the visit weekend. But first, I got to be real with you guys. Buying tickets for your favorite sporting events and more can be a nightmare. You got the queues, the logins, prices jumping at checkout can really take the fun out of it. That's why I've been using Game Time, and it's honestly a game changer. The app and website puts the advantage back in your hands in just a couple of taps. You'll get great seats at a great price, and tickets start as low as $25. Here's what I love. The price you see is the price you pay. No hidden fees checking or sneaking in at checkout. You can even see the view from your seat before you buy, which is great. And with their zone deals, you pick the section and Game Time will pick the seat, so you save even more. Everything's backed by the Game Time guarantee, so you know the tickets are legit on time. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets, especially with college football, right? Or Luke Combs coming to Notre Dame next year. Maybe that'll be on Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use that promo code ON3, that's ON3, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. How much money will you spend to go to that concert, Kyle?
Oh gosh, I don't know, man. I think my fiance is going to be at her wits' ends with concerts pretty soon here. I'm trying to see my guy Hardy here in Cleveland, and that's going to be like 10 days after our wedding. So she's thinking we're going to be on a honeymoon. So
Kyle.
I don't know. We'll see. I may or may not have bought the tickets already. So
all right. Like I said at the top, Notre Dame has a nice visit weekend. Not like a load of big time prospects like Notre Dame will for A&M and USC, those, big night games. Like Notre Dame really tries to funnel their top targets to visit for those games. But man, it is. Is there like a recency bias on this, Kyle? Or does it feel like there are more, like a higher quantity of quality prospects visiting for these afternoon games than in years past? It at least feels that way.
I would have to go. I agree. It feels that way as well. I just think overall this season, the number of nationally recruited guys in both the 27 and 28 classes are much more than years past. I mean, between the A&M and the USC games, I mean they pretty much got just about everyone they want coming to campus this fall.
Yeah, especially in the sophomore class. Like, I think that's been a big difference. 28 recruits can visit during the season, correct? Yes, Bo, they can. 29s can visit. I mean, that's really the contact that Notre Dame and these schools can have. With 28 recruits, like, directly is inviting them to games. But yeah, like, they can't start texting until these kids, like for the 28 class, these high school sophomores, until next June. I think it's the 15th. So yeah, but don't get too worried about the minutia of those recruiting details. The kids can still call Notre Dame, or it's very common for like a college coach to text the kid's high school coach and be like, "Hey, can so and so call me later?" And the kid calls. Like it's very easy to work around. But yeah, so let's go through some of the key names. I'm gonna. We got seven. I'm sorry, 7. I can't count. Thomas Davis Jr., he's committed to Notre Dame. We talked about him earlier in the show. I just got to throw him up there because every time I think about Thomas Davis Jr., I think about the summer. He gone. He gone. He gone. He gone. He gone. No, he's not. Shut the heck up. He's not gone. I'm not talking to you, Kyle. I'm just talking to dumb Twitter person who just sees the news and just reacts. He's gone. No, he's not. He's good. He's good. What am I talking about? Maybe you don't recall. He's a Georgia legacy. He officially visited Georgia. He gone, right? Nope. Locked in. all good on the Notre Dame front. Got to mention that. And then Tyler Merrill, Ben Nichols, and Sullivan Garvin, 3 Notre Dame offensive line commits, will be in town, as well as Preston Friesdale, tight end pledge. This is probably the biggest recruit visiting on Saturday, Kyle, is Albert Simeon from Sam Houston in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Rivals ranks him as the top interior offensive lineman and number 10 player in the 27 class. The industry ranking has him as the number 31 overall player, number 2 interior offensive lineman. An absolute stud. What a big visit this is, Mr. Kelly.
Huge. I mean, absolutely huge. And I think the good thing about this is that, I mean, yeah, I'm sure Notre Dame would have liked to get him up to campus for the USC game, but I mean, we're expecting upwards of 20, 25 targets to be on campus for that game, and by
he's got a Thursday game tonight, so I'm guessing that's why he's
huge.
able to make this day trip.
Yeah, so and by him visiting the week before the USC game, like even though that there are some quality prospects on campus, it's going to be much less to them. So Notre Dame can really personalize that visit for Simeon and his family.
Yeah, that's a big reason why, like, I just talked about, or maybe I haven't said this specific note in this video, but I have before, like, why the day games don't draw as many prospects. Like, okay, one, you want the top recruits to see the night game atmosphere against A&M and USC. Like, it's absolutely electric. But the other, it's just like, if you're coming from Louisiana, it's difficult to play on a game Friday night and then get to South Bend, Indiana, and you want to get there for a 3:30 game. You really want to arrive by like noon at the latest, right? Anything after that, you just don't get that quality time with the coaches beforehand. So bye weeks are when out of state or like out of Midwest kids will come. And then also if you play a Thursday, so Notre Dame, like Albert Simeon plays on a Thursday, so he's able to get up easily on Saturday. So I think that's also a good sign, Kyle, when a kid comes to Notre Dame on his bye week, because you're definitely going to, if you're a top recruit and you have a bye week, you're definitely visiting a school. If you visit Notre Dame, I think that's a pretty good sign. Like, maybe it could just be something as well, like, well, I had these 5 schools I wanted to see. The others are easy drives in the Southeast for me or something. It could be that, but I still think it's a good sign. So Albert Simeon visiting is a big deal. We talked about Amari Irvin. I predicted him, a 4-star linebacker, to Notre Dame on Monday. If you're just tuning in, rewind. We already chatted up about him. And then a notable 2027 offensive tackle, Kyle. Can you tell us about Cincinnati Archbishop Moeller tackle Khalil Johnson, 6'6", 305 pounds?
Yeah, one of the top prospects here in Ohio. I know Ohio State's offered him, so the Buckeyes are kind of viewed as the team to beat right now. Johnson played at Cincinnati Winton Woods before this season, made the transfer to Archbishop Moeller. Notre Dame's had some success at Moeller in the past, signing Carson Hobbs most recently, the cornerback, who's a sophomore at Notre Dame. So I think this is a guy who's going to be on offer watch. He's got the college-ready size.
Jeez, yeah.
His offer sheet is pretty impressive, and I got to see the Moeller versus St. Xavier game, which I've talked about so many times before. Is one of the best high school games you can see every year. And I was covering the St. X defenders, so I wasn't able to look at Khalil Johnson as much as I wanted to on Moeller. But just in terms of passing the eye test, he did with his size. So I'll be curious to see if he comes away with a Notre Dame offer, because he's I know you don't have this guy pulled up, but there's also going to be another Ohio offensive tackle on campus, Mason Wilt, who's from, I think, Central Ohio. I think Ohio State might have offered him.
They have.
Yeah, so that'll be one to watch as well.
Khalil Johnson was predicted to Ohio State by Greg Smith at Rivals not too long. Maybe it was like in July. The 24th. So, there'll be a school to watch. 3 big-time 2028s. Like, this is – I think this is awesome. So, Kellen Hall from Louisville, Kentucky Christian Academy of Louisville, number 12 overall player, number 3 defensive lineman in the 28 class. He's someone that I know Notre Dame was liked for quite some time and was like a guarantee to get an offer for Pot of Gold Day. But sometimes for these high school sophomores, Notre Dame will want to just go ahead and offer before pot of gold. We've seen that with some 28s this fall. And Kellen Hall got his offer yesterday or the day before, and he's visiting on Saturday. So a big one. I think he's been to Notre Dame twice already. The Irish are going to be a huge contender to watch. Like Notre Dame fans, like you guys know, the white whale for the Notre Dame recruiting right now is just like that, like 5-star type of interior defensive lineman. Kyle's talked about like how long it's been since Notre Dame's gotten one. What's the quick answer to that, Kyle? Like not in this internet era?
Yeah, Tom Lemming has told me dating back to the 70s.
Golly. So Kellen Hall, cross your fingers. And then 2 elite corners. You got Nate Dollard, the number 79 overall player, number 9 corner from Charlotte Country Day. And then Langston Pridgeon from Ashburn, Virginia, Stonebridge. The number 2 corner nationally, number 28 player. So both of those guys in the 28 class. Dollard and Pridgeon both on offer watch. So again, just like getting these elite prospects up to South Bend so early, I think is really such a big deal. A couple questions. Something simple says, other than Cam Wagner, who else does Notre Dame have strong standing with? We are going to, I think today Kyle's going to put out an intel piece on that. So we're going to hold the answer to that for blueandgold.com. And I don't know, maybe I'll have a prediction on an offense. I don't know. We'll see. Something to keep an eye on. And then Free J Free says, how is Ian Premer season going? Not much on him.
Oh, I'm so glad I got this question. Can I please talk about this?
That's why I pulled it up, Kyle.
Well, I do our weekly commit tracker at Blue and Gold, so I know how every Notre Dame commit in the class performs every week. There's a couple exceptions where stats don't get put in right away, but I got a pretty good pulse on this. And Ian Premer, man, his season has been really fun to follow because this guy does it all for Great Bend, Kansas, or Great Bend High School in Kansas. He has like a couple catches a game. They're mostly touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think he lines up at Wildcat quarterback, has a bunch of rushing touchdowns. They use him all over on offense. And then on defense, he's playing a huge role. He's already got like 3 interceptions this year. So we always talk about like our hypothetical like Notre Dame commit MVP a high school football season. I think Premer is one of those guys that could be in contention for that hypothetical award that we might have to end up publishing eventually at the end of the year. But yeah, I've been thinking about him this week. I was like, maybe we should catch up with him for an interview because like no, we haven't really talked about Ian Premer. He's like the number 25 overall player and like one of the top tight ends in the 26 cycle. And I feel like we haven't given this guy enough publicity, like how big of a get this is for Notre Dame. The buzz on him is that he might be a talent that can come in and play right away at Notre Dame, which they really need at tight end.
Yeah, that's it.
So obviously you can tell by my reaction, I'm really excited by him, but what he's done during his high school season has been really strong, and you can find out more details about it on my commit tracker.
Look at this guy at free safety. First of all, not the quickest feet in turning ability back there, but goodness gracious,
it's so fun to watch.
Like, I get really frustrated when I go to high school games, especially at like smaller schools, smaller areas, and they just don't get the ball to the elite talent. It just drives me batshit crazy. Pardon my French. It drives me crazy. Like, why would you not get the ball to your like 6'5" wide receiver or something? So yeah, you mentioned he only has a couple catches a game, but they run him. They put him on defense. They do everything with him. So that's good to hear. Yeah, it's like sometimes I'll be like, it's like an elite corner or something. It's like, okay, he's a corner prospect. Like, put him at receiver and let him run by everyone. Like that little 5'8", 140-pound little white kid's not covering, this 5-star corner. Like, just put him at receiver. Sometimes these schools just don't do it, but I love that with Ian Premer. Yeah, dude, you remember the day he committed?
I was on a boat. in Michigan on vacation.
At least one Kansas State prediction went in that day.
That's
I
great.
remember seeing that prediction, calling up a source and being like, wow, I mean, I guess he's going to Kansas State. Then I get, source checking on some things and hear back. It's like they didn't know what to think about it. Because everything on the Notre Dame side was looking really good that day. They're like, don't think the kid's BSing us. And then sure enough, get the called and committed. So that was a wild one. Ian Premer, I'm glad you said that because, yeah, he's definitely gone under the radar with like how big of a recruiting win that really was. So, yeah, good shout. Good shout on that, Kyle. Something Simple says, if I could like the live stream more, I would. So give this a like. Over 100 people watching. Come on, do your part. Yeah. Like he said.
Unpaid ambassador.
All right. That is going to do it for this show. Really appreciate everyone tuning in. If you're just watching, you're like, wait, Mike, what about the predicting a 4-star corner to the Irish? I got you. Just rewind, watch from the beginning. If you're listening to this as a podcast, thank you very much for tuning in this week. Please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Next show will be Saturday. We'll be talking about Notre Dame, NC State, so make sure to join us then. Really appreciate you all for tuning in. And as always, we will catch you next time.